let's just say we got a chance to finally see the improvements in the big project to improve the Carrier Dome. But no fans were there to enjoy it. You know, that is the norm nowadays with COVID-19. Heck, this past weekend was one, where I missed out on a lot of things. Heck, if everything was normal, I could have been out in Kalamazoo visiting family, but they didn't play Western Michigan. Or I could have been to Naples, but the Grape Festival didn't happen. Or I could have been in Geneseo, but the air show didn't happen this year. That's the norm with COVID-19, but enough belly aching. You know, I saw a few of the improvements myself along with everybody else there when we watched the Orange finally break out of their funk against Georgia Tech. Finally, we saw what this team could do given the chance. And the first time we beaten the Yellow Jackets ever. A good 37-20 win over the Yellow Jackets. Heck, they did have a little buzz about them, but hey, the Orange stifled it, especially with Trill Williams, Trill the Thrill, as people like to say it. Hey, catching a lateral off of an interception, going the rest of the way to the house. Yes, and finally we saw what can happen when DeVito gets time to pass. And we finally may have seen a star emerge with freshman running back Sean Tucker. This kid's a keeper. But let's just say, what I saw with the Dome, pretty good. Of course, some might say, hey, it's the same color. With the fixed roof. But I thought about when they said translucent roof, it was going to be clear. And we'd be like, oh, look at that. We could see a goose flying overhead. Oh, look at that. He pooped on the roof. Oh, look at that. There's a plane going over. Oh, it's going to crash. No, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But I digress. Interesting looking roof. And I thought it was going to be clear. Oh well. But how about that scoreboard? Yeah, I can just see Spike and Chester, the two dogs from the Sylvester cartoon. Spike would probably look at it and say, big scoreboard. Big scoreboard. I don't know if he'd turn white, but I digress. Yeah, interesting scoreboard. Good addition. But now, let's get some fans in there so they can enjoy it. Yeah, they still have to work on the concourses. They still have to work on concessions. They still have to work on the HVAC system that's going to go in there. Finally, after 40 years, a Carrier Dome, with a name like Carrier, whose headquarters used to be in Syracuse, an air conditioning company. Hey, there was no AC in there. That's why. It always felt like a sauna. Oh, it's hot in here. But you know what? Good way to open the new dome. Carrier Dome 2.0, as we like to say. Good improvements, good win. Now let's continue it next week against Duke. Speaking of no fans, boy, was that a game for Buffalo against the Rams. I'm going to quote Charles Dickens. They said he wrote one of the great stories in literary history with A Tale of Two Cities. But you know what? 'Tis a far, far better thing I do than I have ever watched before. I know I'm fracturing one of the main lines of that novel, but you know what? Heck. At first, though, it would look like it was going to be a I think you get what I mean. A laugher. The way the Bills stormed out to a 28-3 lead. And all of a sudden, it turned from a to one where, it looked like the Bills were choking. Yeah. Los Angeles came all the way back and took a 32 to 28 point lead. But you know what? Buffalo showed what they could do. And no, I wouldn't choke myself into unconsciousness. But you know what? That's a troubling trend. When Leslie Frazier, who's a guru of defense, his defense kind of went to in there in the second half, allowing Los Angeles to come back and take a 32 to 28 point lead. But I mean, with 15 seconds left, they went to backup tight end Croft for the winning touchdown. This team is for real, especially on offense. Josh Allen's starting to turn into an elite quarterback. But you know, in some ways, he still is prone to those mistakes. He clears them up. Maybe he could take us to the AFC Championship. But we got Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City to worry about. And we're going to wonder. I mean, the clamors are starting to grow for Bills fans to be in the stands. And I mean, Mark Poloncarz, the executive for Erie County, maybe he can have say talking to Governor Cuomo. Of course, Cuomo, who's always so rigid in his stance, no wonder you can't touch him with a 10-foot pole in more ways than one. But I mean, hey, let's get fans in the stands there so the Bills can enjoy it. We're 3-0, but a lucky 3-0. And next up, we go out to Sin City to play the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas. Should still be the Oakland Raiders. But you know what? Sin City's wanted an NFL team. And of course, Alameda County, which is where Oakland is, didn't want to pony up the resources to improve the Coliseum or get Oakland a new home. Oh well, they're now the Las Vegas Raiders. But it's kind of sad now that Oakland, which should still have a team, doesn't have a team. But I digress. Now I want to talk about something that's made the waves the last couple of days. Oh, there's reports come out about how little Trump has paid in taxes. And the thing is, hey, what nice timing, especially a little more than a month before the election, for this to come out. Of course, you never know what those Democrats are going to do. You never know what some media is going to do. Heck, they've been against Trump, it seems as though, like from day one when he took office. Yeah, he's rough around the edges, but you know what? He's gotten things done. But I mean, hey, Joe may be biding his time. I kind of wonder if he's behind this leak. But I digress. You know what? I mean, yeah, for a man of his stature, the little in taxes. Well, you know what? I don't really care. Does anybody care? Heck, a lot of people are so sick of this, and they just want this election to be over. But I mean, that's the way I look at it. Who cares? And also they're talking about the new Supreme Court nominee. Yeah, I mean, he wants to push this through. She looks like an interesting candidate. Yeah, she's Catholic. She has 7 children. They brought up all of that about her. But of course, the one thing that always strikes me is when they show when she was confirmed several years ago to the appeals court or appellate court, Dianne Feinstein saying the dogma resides in you. Imagine that, a Jew asking a Catholic that. I know what dogma is. Part of me doesn't want to say anything blasphemous, but apparently I mean saying the dogma resides in you. I don't hear any barking. Oh well. Last but not least, how about that with Gwyneth Paltrow? She turned 48 years old. And I mean, what did she do to celebrate her birthday? She posted a picture of herself in her birthday suit. Gwyneth, you're a great actress. I've watched you in a lot of movies. Even your Oscar-winning role there. I mean, but I know you You started to really take care of yourself, and I admit, looking good. But do we really have to see a picture like that? Especially your daughter Apple. Apple. Now what is it with parents and their names nowadays? Why can't it be Mary? Why can't it be Carol? Why can't it be Anne? Why can't it be Marie? I could go on and on. Apple. Kinda sounds fruity. She doesn't have any siblings like Strawberry or Melon. Of course, saying Melon, looking at that picture of Paltrow, now I can understand why they call it the boob tube. But whatever. No wonder Apple said, Mom! Of course, I've said, Mom! numerous times in my life, but it wasn't over a picture like that. Of course, everybody's mother can embarrass their children now and then. But that's what I have to say for this week. Interesting dome improvements. I'd like to be in there in person to see what's next. See you next week.